Alright, we're back for another Dokkan Battle video, and in today's video we are going to be going over a new teaser that we got. So on JP Dokkan's Twitter account, you can see we got a little picture, I'm assuming teasing the Part 2 LR on JP Dokkan, because of course that is going to be dropping, I think within the next week. It's a pull. So obviously that means we're going to get a new LR a pull. You can see we have barely gotten any cards of this guy. I mean, he's only had one normal card in the game. So it's finally time that we get some buffs for this guy. I mean, you know, weak teams. Look at this. Frieza's minion. I mean, we can check this link out really quick. You know, you got a ton of good units on here. The newest ban unit on Global Dokkan, Dodoria. Also some of the Ginyu Force ban units. Just all around. Going to be a great release for the game. But in all seriousness, it's probably not going to be a pull. I don't think they'd want to make him an LR. It would kind of make sense, right? I mean, a pull. This is a pull. I'm just saying, man, it makes sense. But what most people think it's going to be, and I definitely think there's a chance at this. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it still makes sense, is a Cell Max, because of course, in the movie, or even in the little intro we get in the Cell Max event, where it plays a little animation with him, you can see him coming out of his tube, and it kind of looks like he's like coming out of a pool or something. So it would still make sense that this would be a Cell Max, and that's what most people want to see, right? We need a Cell Max out of everything in the superhero movie, other than like a new Goku and a Vegeta, or like a Broly, which we don't really need because they didn't do a whole lot, they just trained, but they could still make a card with that. But other than those three characters, this is pretty much all we're missing from superhero. We finally got Beast Gohan, you know, Power Awakening Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, we got the Goten and the Trunks, we got the Pan, we got Krillin and 18. Yeah, that's pretty much all the heavy hitters. Oh yeah, and the Gammas, obviously. Those are pretty much all the heavy hitters from the superhero movie, minus this guy. So it would make sense that we finally get him. I would be a little confused if they just drop him as a Part 2 LR, but like I said, it's definitely possible, right? Or it's a little confusing that they just randomly drop him as a Part 2 LR. I would think maybe save him for like Anniversary, Tanabata, Worldwide, something like that, because he's still relatively new and there is still a little bit of money behind his name, so just dropping him randomly is random, but whatever, it would still work. He's on some weak teams, and that's what we're going to go over now. So androids, I mean, it's not a good category. We definitely need some buffs for this. We had Android 21. We've got the Gammas on here. Yeah, MVP 17 can still be pretty good. This guy needs his EZA, so hopefully we can get that soon. We actually talked about that, I think, in my previous video. But yeah, other than a few good options here and there, obviously LR Gammas are amazing. But other than a few good options, probably not even enough to build a full team, it's not really the best category. So I think, you know, more buffs for that definitely is good, especially because majority of units on here, minus the Gammas, are on Extreme Class. So it would be pretty good just to have another Extreme Class option like this on there. Now, if this guy's a support Rainbow Orb Changer, I don't know. We're going to have to wait till his details get revealed or, you know, anything like that. But I'm just saying, if he's a good unit and he's on androids, he's helping a lot of these Extreme Class units out. Because I would assume a Cell Max would have a basic androids link set. I don't know, it'd be kind of difficult to predict that. I would hope Big Bad Bosses, maybe like Android Assault, and then, you know, just a lot of the android links, right? So probably would be really good for this category, but again, we'd have to wait to see his details. Next, we got Artificial Life Forms, basically the exact same thing. I mean, you got a few better units on here, just because now we're talking like Majin Boos, now we're talking Bio Brolys, Cells, stuff like that. Well, I guess Cells are on androids too, but you know what I'm saying? There's just more options on this category, but it's still not great. It's still not, you know, a top tier team. I would say, I mean, you might be able to get a good team, but it's going to be difficult because not everyone's going to be linking that well together. You're going to be putting these boos next to like android units, and outside of like a link or two, they're not going to work that well together. So I think getting a Cell Max definitely would be good. It would make the android side of this category, even though it is kind of an android category, but you know what I'm saying. It would make a lot of the android units on this category work a lot better together if you could just throw a Cell Max in there. That would kind of be the glue to the team, right? Especially if he is a support, if he does have predominantly like an androids kind of link set, so then he's linking really good with, I mean, I guess Cell, this guy has a couple android links, right? I think he has Android Assault. No, he doesn't. Yeah, realistically, a Cell Max probably wouldn't link well with a lot of cells. I would hope for Big Bad Bosses. If he has an LR, obviously you'd have Legendary Power, you'd have Fierce Battle. He wouldn't have Kamehameha. Yeah, he wouldn't have any of these. Would he have the Ultimate Life Form? Who's on this? No, it's just a lot of perfect cells. So no, he wouldn't have that. Yeah, he definitely wouldn't have Gentleman. Yeah, he would only like with like a lot of other cells with like Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. So a lot of the cells he's not going to be linking that well with. I would just hope he has like Android Assault and Big Bad Bosses, and then Legendary Power, Fierce Battle. I would say those are some of the big links that would help out like a lot of these Android units. So androids and artificial life forms, you can kind of lump them in one category, even though technically they're two categories, but they're the same thing, really. This one just has some booze and a couple other units on there, but it's just, you know, artificial life forms is basically both of them, right? So both of those categories definitely would be getting buffed from a cell. Movie bosses. This is a big one. So it's not bad. We do have some good options on here. We've got the Dokkan Fest Hirudegarn. We've got the EZA Broly Chi-Line Lemo, the LR Broly from the 9th year anniversary, and like, you know, a few more good units on here, I guess. Some of the coolers can still be pretty decent. This Bandit Unit Frieza is pretty good. But I don't know. This is a really fun category, and I don't think it's ever been like really that good, which is crazy because Movie Heroes has always been good. I don't think there's ever been a time where Movie Heroes has been bad. And you'd think if Movie Heroes is going to be great, Movie Bosses should be somewhat near that level as well, because usually when we get Movie Heroes releases, you know, get a Movie Bosses release. But it's just all the time they're fumbling these units. I don't know why, but it's just Extreme Class, right? It's a classic Extreme Class just gets fumbled case. So I would say make them just a really good unit. Give us like an extra unit or two, or maybe an easy A or two on this category, because I mean, it would make sense if this guy is going to release as a Part 2 LR. The Easy A could be a Movie Bosses Easy A. That's how it could kind of correlate with the new summonable LR. And then, you know, with those two LRs being on this category, bam, it could be really good. Because if you're throwing Cell Max on the team, if you're throwing Hirudegarn, you know, Broly Chi-Line Lemo, the LR Broly, and then like a few good defensive units down here, you know what I'm saying? Like, not these like crazy units, but they're really good defensively, so they're pretty good on the team, like AGL Golden Frieza or the Tech Golden Frieza. You could have a pretty well-rounded team right there. Now, of course, that depends on what Cell Max looks like and who would Easy A, but there's not really anyone from the superhero movie that we need to see get an Easy A, so I would assume the Easy A for the Part 2 of a celebration would just be like one of the units on one of these categories. So Movie Bosses, we could be seeing an Easy A for this category soon. I mean, Turles would be a good option. I don't think it would be Broly. I think this is just too random of a celebration for him to Easy A, because his Easy A is very, very anticipated. So I think Turles, we could definitely see. Maybe Janemba. I mean, you could make the argument that he's really hype as well, so they'd want to save his Easy A, but I think it's possible. Yeah, Janemba. The Tech Janemba, this one right here, he definitely could Easy A. He'd be really good because defensively he's somewhat solid right now. So with an Easy A, you just make his defensive numbers higher, maybe give him a little bit more damage reduction, and then he's chilling. So yeah, he definitely could be very good. Yeah, Dokkan Fest Broly. Oh my god, I can't wait for this guy's Easy A. I'm not going to talk about him too long because this isn't an Easy A speculation video, but still, that guy's Easy A could be really good. I kind of hope he Easy A's actually, because damage reduction, stacking, pretty good damage. He's basically got it all. So yeah, he has insane potential. But you know what I'm saying? A couple Easy A's we could get for this category and a new LR Cell Max. It's looking good for Movie Bosses. That's all I'm going to say. Battle of Fate does not need the help. We're barely going to talk about this category. The Extreme Class side of it is a lot worse than the Super Class side of it. So, I mean, that's about all I got to say. I'd be pretty good for this team just because, again, a lot of the Extreme Class options are not that good, and there's just not a lot of Extreme Class options. So now getting another LR for this category would be pretty good, I guess, but it's not really doing a whole lot. It's still a really good team. And then finally, the category he's probably buffing the most, Super Bosses. So Super Bosses needs the help. I mean, once they introduced this during 9th year anniversary, I was really excited, but then the category released, and I was like, oh, they're not adding Beerus, they're not adding any of the Golden Friezas, because I guess technically that was Dragon Ball Z, and the category just kind of sucks. I mean, I'm just going to be straight up with you. We had some pretty good additions to it, like the Dokkan Fest Goku Black. Was that it? Is that pretty much the only good addition we've had since the category's release? I know, of course, the category's only been out for a few months, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been the only good unit we've seen for this category. So if we can get a Cell Max who could be just good, just a good unit that's on this category, huge W. Instantly, just like that. This category is going to look a lot better, but preferably I would like him to be a little bit of a support, maybe just I don't know, something that's going to help other units like Rainbow Orb changing, something like that, mainly because of this category, because a lot of these units aren't really going to work that well together. I mean, there's examples of good rotations, like if you run Half Corrupted Zamasu with LR Goku Black, of course that's going to work as a rotation. But then, you know, with a lot of the other units, we got Broly. Do you think he's going to link well with anyone on here other than, like, other Broly units? No, not really. So, if we can just get a good support on this category, similar to what I said with, like, androids and artificial life forms, Cell Max could kind of be the glue to this team that really helps everyone come together. So, with all those categories, I mean, well, I say all those categories. It's 5. So, with these 5 categories, Cell Max definitely would be a really good addition to the game. Now, it's exactly just that, though. Only 5 categories. That definitely is going to suck on a unit because, I mean, you know, we like these units that have, like, these full paragraphs of just categories and categories, because then obviously you can run them on a lot of different teams in the game. A lot of these, like, category missions, you can kind of just throw them on there. Usually the more teams they have, that means the more weaker teams they have. So, with a unit that only has 5 teams, it definitely does suck. But to be fair, this guy does have some pretty weak teams just in these few right here. Super bosses, movie bosses, androids, artificial life forms are pretty weak teams. And the Battle of Fate, you know, that's a pretty good team that you could kind of just throw him on as long as you got a good linking partner with him. And then he'll probably look pretty alright on that team. But again, just depends on what his kit looks like. So that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you would want a Cell Max to look like, and let me know what you think this means. I'm just going to assume it's a Cell Max because that's what most people want. It's what I would personally want this to be. But, like, would it really make sense? I guess kind of. I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to get a Cell Max. That's mainly what I'm trying to say. But, you know, I wanted an excuse to make a video going over what a Cell Max would look like because, let's be honest, you know, it'd be pretty hype. We need a Cell Max, man. He'd be a really good addition to the game like we just went over. So anyway, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.